airstrikes, say a little bit before dawn. We heard jets flying around this area for an extended period of time. There were also some massive airstrikes, and we saw thick black smoke billowing from one location, which seemed to be in sort of the central, maybe southern central part of the city as we were driving around. That also went on for an extended period of time as well. Clearly a very large airstrike that happened there with that plume of smoke hanging over almost the entire city. This, of course, happens as the United States and Israel continue their air campaign, not just here in Tehran, but in various locations around the country. They say that they're going to continue to try and degrade the Iranian military infrastructure and then also take out, as they put it, key leaders as well. At the same time, the Iranian government is vowing not to back down, not to negotiate with the United States. And Iran's military says that it is going to continue targeting not just U.S. assets here in this region, like military bases in the Gulf states, but of course continue to target Israel as well. The Iranians are saying that their missile stockpiles are still very much filled and that their missiles are very capable as well.
That was CNN's Fred Pleitgen reporting from inside Iran, from Tehran, the capital. I want to go live right now to CNN's Jeremy Diamond. He's on the border between Israel and Lebanon. Israel's carrying out what they describe as broad-scale strikes in Beirut against Hezbollah. Jeremy, what's happening where you are?
Well, Wolf, this front in Israel's war with Iran is certainly heating up. Days after Hezbollah began firing rockets into northern Israel, joining the fray in an attack that they said was revenge, effectively, for the killing of the supreme leader Ayatollah Khamenei. Today, along the border, we have been witnessing and hearing an intensification of this war between Israel and Hezbollah. We were doing reporting here in Metula along the Israel-Lebanon border when we saw two projectiles coming in from the Lebanese side of the border, striking a location not far from where we are. And then we witnessed the back and forth between these two sides. Israeli military forces firing artillery fire that was going over our heads and then striking positions inside of Lebanon. What's been so notable, Wolf, is to see how close some of these positions are that the Israelis have been striking inside of Lebanon. Some of them as close as just a half mile inside Lebanese territory, indicating that Hezbollah, which has been supposedly pushed out from this portion of southern Lebanon over a year ago when that ceasefire was reached, it signals that Hezbollah is trying to re-infiltrate some of those areas, getting very close not only to Israeli military positions inside southern Lebanon, but also to Israeli civilian areas like where we are right now. The Israeli military also just announcing that as a result of some of those projectiles that have been coming in from Hezbollah into northern Israel, 5 Israeli soldiers have been severely injured today as a result of some of that fire. They've been evacuated to receive medical treatment. But again, this front very much heating up, Wolf. We've seen Israeli tanks along the border. We've heard jets circling overhead, airstrikes inside of Lebanon, as the question now looms as to whether or not the Israeli military is going to conduct a more significant ground operation inside of Lebanon. Certainly reservists, tens of thousands of Israeli military reservists are being called up, and that does seem to be certainly an option that the Israeli prime minister is considering, although there's no sense that a decision to go for that ground operation has been made yet. Wolf?
All right, Jeremy Diamond on the Israeli-Lebanese border. Stand by for more from him. That's coming up. And stay safe over there, Jeremy. Also new this morning, the Trump administration says the United States Navy will begin escorting ships through the Strait of Hormuz. Iran struck the oil tanker Skylight off the coast of Oman, leading to shipping traffic nearly stopping through the critical shipping lane. As oil prices are rising here in the United States and indeed around the world, President Trump wants to assure safe passage to resume the flow of oil from the Middle East. And this morning, Iran says it has launched a fresh wave of drones against U.S. bases in Kuwait. CNN's senior producer, Bijan Hosseini, joins us now from Doha, the capital of Qatar. Bijan, what can you tell us about these U.S. Navy escorts?
Yeah, well, U.S. Energy Secretary Chris Wright saying the U.S. would start helping ships. The U.S. Navy would help those ships pass through the strait. A big caveat there. He said, as soon as it's reasonable to do so. In an interview, he said, first, the U.S. needs to, quote, suppress Iran's ability to wreak havoc on their neighbors and on Americans in the area. He added, as soon as it's reasonable to do it, we'll escort ships through the strait and get energy moving again. We know that the Strait of Hormuz is absolutely vital. A fifth of the world's oil passes through it. And we heard Iran's IRGC say yesterday that the strait was closed to the U.S., Israel, and their Western allies, and that any of those vessels would be, quote, certainly hit. This all comes 7 days into Iran's retaliation here on the Gulf. We know that U.S. Central Command yesterday said that Iran's ballistic missile attacks have decreased by 90%. Their drone attacks have decreased by 83%. But we still witnessed attacks on 5 Gulf countries this morning: Bahrain, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and here in Qatar. We were awoken, the team and I, to alarms going off at 3:45 in the morning of a missile attack saying that the security threat level was elevated. 15 minutes later, we got a message saying the threat had been eliminated, and Qatar's Ministry of Defense coming out and confirming a drone attack on El Udeid Air Base, saying they had successfully intercepted all of those. So attacks from Iran down according to U.S. Central Command, but we're still seeing them over here in the Gulf, Wolf.
All right, Bijan Husseini in Doha, Qatar for us. Bijan, we'll stay in close touch with you as well. Stay safe. Much more coming up from Iran straight ahead here in the Situation Room. But first, there's other news that's unfolding. The new head of the Department of Homeland Security, Republican Senator Markwayne Mullin, now set to replace Kristi Noem. It's been a turbulent few months for the agency. So what kind of changes, if any, can we expect? We have details. You're in the Situation Room.
If anybody knows about going to great lengths to realize a dream, it's the 5 Japanese-born players in front of their nation's fans for the first time.
Homecoming, the Tokyo series, premieres March 27th on the CNN app.
What can $34 get you these days? It could send you to your ancestral village and give you a taste of your heritage passed down through the generations. That's a big adventure for a small price.
If you own a car, anytime you're at a mechanic shop can feel like a nightmare.
If your car is out of warranty, your repair bills are